everyone. Good morning. How are you doing? I'm Chef Patty and welcome to our AvMed Health Facebook Live. We do this every Tuesday and Thursdays, and we just make really yummy recipes out of my home kitchen. We try to keep it healthy. Some recipes are healthier than others. Today we are making a cheese tortellini with a walnut pesto. If you wanted to make this recipe a little healthier, then you don't have to use the cheese tortellini. You can maybe possibly use some cauliflower pasta or zucchini pasta, like a vegetable pasta. But the whole idea, what I am doing here is I am transitioning from summer recipes. It's September, so we're transitioning into fall recipes, and we are starting to make flavors that are a little, I guess I want to say a little warmer, right? Even though I'm in South Florida and it's very, very hot here still. But you get what I mean. I'm transitioning. I'm trying to stay away from all the herbs and the salads and just going for yummier recipes. So that's what I'm doing with the walnut pesto. Traditionally, pestos are made with tons of herbs and a little bit of pine nuts. I'm not using pine nuts, I'm using walnuts. If you have a nut allergy, then you can omit the walnuts, or you could maybe swap it out for some seeds. Pumpkin seeds would go great with this as well. I'm boiling water for my store-bought tortellini. You can use any kind of pasta that you wish. So let's get started. The pesto is very simple. We don't need a lot of ingredients. We need some, I have a cup of walnuts right here. I need some fresh parsley. We can always use basil. If you don't like parsley, you can use your favorite herb. You can do a combination of parsley and basil and mint, or maybe even spinach leaves or kale leaves. You can kind of get as creative as you want, but they all work. I have 2 cloves of fresh garlic. I have about a half a cup of olive oil, about a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese, salt and pepper, and we're gonna make a lovely pesto. I'm boiling water. I'm gonna add the cheese tortellini to my boiling water in a minute. Actually, I can do that now because the pesto is not gonna take long at all. And we'll get started. Did everyone have a good Labor Day weekend? I hope so. Okay, I'm going to try to do this without making too big of a mess. I always have to be careful when I use this portable stove. Okay, my tortellinis are a little stuck. Let me get a spoon. This tool is too big. All right. So if you're just joining us, we are making a walnut pesto for some tortellini. I'm boiling the tortellini right now. This is a really easy weeknight meal. Like I mentioned last week and the week before, we are back in school, like school's back in session. Our lives are so hectic, so we just need some quick meal ideas. My cup of walnut going in. Hello, good morning. So we're making a walnut pesto, and I'm boiling some store-bought cheese tortellini. I'm gonna mix everything together and it's gonna be delicious. So walnuts are loaded with antioxidants, fiber, vitamins, minerals, you name it. Okay. I'm just gonna pour all the ingredients all at once. Don't worry about the order for this. I put in the walnuts, the parsley. If you don't like parsley, you can use basil. You can use spinach or kale. I added garlic, Parmesan cheese, a little salt and pepper. We don't want this to boil over. And then we're gonna give it a twirl in the food processor. If you don't have a food processor and you wanna chop everything by hand, you can, but this is a lot easier. It's not gonna take the pasta long to cook. I feel like I have too much water. No, we're good. And you can tell When it starts to rise up, that means it's ready. You can buy frozen tortellini. You can buy the fresh that comes like in a vacuum sealed bag at the grocery store. Or like I mentioned in the very beginning, if you want to use like spiralized zucchini or a cauliflower pasta or like sweet potato pasta, you can use any kind of pasta that you wish. Sweet potato pasta with the walnut pesto would be amazing. Okay. I added my salt, I added my pepper, everything is in here. This is probably going to be the easiest meal you ever make. If you want it smoother, you can make it a little smoother. I don't mind the chunks of walnut, but it's really nice. It's so pretty because you can see the speckles of the green parsley. So my pesto is done. Let me get this out of the way. I think my pasta's done too. The quickest pasta ever made. Let's see. Okay, I'm just giving it a few more minutes of heat, and then I'm going to strain the pasta and save. I'm going to reserve a little bit of the pasta water, and that's how we're going to create a sauce. Let's see. Okay. This is done. So remember, the minute you see it float up to the surface, that means your pasta is ready. And that goes like for these small little bundles or ravioli. When they float up, they're good to go. I am going to strain my pasta. And I'm definitely going to keep some of the pasta water. Put it in a bowl. Hi there, Olga. Good morning. I feel like you guys are my friends. One day we're going to have to meet each other. Like you and Magda and Clem, you guys have been with me since the beginning. This is awesome. Okay, so my pasta water is in one bowl. My drained pasta is in another bowl. Now we're gonna get our pesto. And we're gonna start combining. Yummy. Remember guys, if anyone in your family has a nut allergy, you can just not use the walnuts, or you can swap out the walnuts for some seeds. Sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, any kind of seed will work. And this is just, like I mentioned, we're transitioning to warmer recipes. So now we're gonna start mixing all of our ingredients. And I would say you probably need I would start it off with about 1/4 cup of the starchy water. Yummy. I can smell all the garlic. And that's it. I don't need more water unless you want it like super saucy, but I think this is perfect. And then as the pasta sits for a few minutes, the pasta will soak up all that water and it gets really creamy. The combination of the starchy water with the Parmesan cheese in the pesto, it's just delicious. Setting this aside. And I am gonna add a little butter, about a tablespoon of butter, just to give it some silkiness. Continue to stir. Mash this butter against the inside of the bowl. So excited. and ready to plate. How easy is this? Remember, all you have to do is make a really good pesto, and then you can add it to anything. And if you don't want to mix it in with pasta, you can just combine it with vegetables. Put it in here. Maybe like a little more fresh parsley. Do I have extra cheese? Cheese? Oh, I do, right here. And some extra Parmesan cheese. And I'm done. You've never had tortellini. Okay, Magda, it's really, all you have to do is boil it. You can buy it at the store. It comes either frozen or vacuum sealed in the refrigerated section. And it's like tiny little bundles of pasta filled with cheese. And they're just good to have, even if you buy like the frozen bag. They're good to have if you need to make a really quick meal. You saw how quickly it cooked. It took maybe 3 minutes. And the minute you put it in the boiling water, it'll boil and then it reaches the surface. Took 3 minutes, and that means that it's ready to drain and ready to eat. So it's a great option. But here what I'm focusing on is more about the pesto than the pasta, because this pesto, if you can make this pesto at home, you can put it on top of like roasted cauliflower. Spectacular. You can put it on anything, on your pizzas. It's really yummy. So anyways, I am done for today. This is a really quick recipe. Oh, Clem, I'm getting ready to sign out. But I'll give you a recap. I made cheese tortellini with a super delicious walnut pesto. The pesto had 1 cup of walnuts, Parmesan cheese, garlic. I used about a quarter cup of Parmesan-ish, 2 cloves of garlic, some olive oil, and that was it. Oh, and parsley. I don't think I said parsley. Make a quick pesto. If you can't have nuts, then you can not include the walnuts, or you can swap out maybe for some pumpkin seeds and keep it fallish. But it's really yummy. Added some Parmesan cheese, and then I saved a little bit of the pasta water to create a sauce, and then just finished it off at the end with a tablespoon of butter. Obviously that's optional, you don't have to include that, but the butter always it adds, when you're making a sauce, by adding butter, it adds a little silkiness to it. It gives it that smooth texture, and it just kind of finishes the dish off for you. So mwah. Ciao guys, I will see you on Thursday. Be safe. And what am I making on Thursday? I remember. Thursday, I'm gonna make some Parmesan crusted chicken breast. So it'll be quick, it'll be yummy. I'm working on weeknight meals, and that's it. Bye guys, love you, love the tip with the butter. Oh, my pleasure. Thank you, Edith. All right, bye guys.